Eyebrows.
Holy
Christ. Eyes.
What the hell are you doing?
Why are you yelling?
I'm projecting a lot more.
I hate it.
Noses. The 1% Club. I know I yell too much at the 1% Club. Your words that you've sent me have been heard. Next season I'll do a lot better. How are you all going? Welcome to I Don't Know About That with me, Jim Jefferies. We're just talking off air about how I yell all the time. I don't mean to yell all the time. But to all the people, the 1% Club is the new highest rated show in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm over the moon. After the first episode, everyone was shitting on me. You can't read questions. I was like, oh, God, they figured me out. And you've all kept coming to watch the episode, so I appreciate that. We're going to make some more.
Well, people in Australia, yeah.
We're going to make some more, man. We're going to make some more. That's all I know about it. I want to keep making as many of these things as possible. And so thank you very much to all the people who are watching that. We just got back from Las Vegas.
Yep.
Las Wages, as I like to call it. I didn't do well in the poker. I'm going to go and do some more local.
I don't think people know that you were in the actual World Series of Comedy.
Poker.
That's what you're talking about, yeah. Not just playing poker there, but yeah.
I was there doing the poker. I don't know what I did wrong. One buy-in, I knew exactly what I did wrong. I held in on 2 pairs, and my 2 pairs weren't good enough. And then another one, I went all in at the end there, and it was the right thing to do, and then the guy just got the cards. It's still a game of chance, but it seems that the people who are really good at it their luck goes a lot further than mine did. But I think I could do better. I don't think I'm a lost cause at the old poker. I just got to learn how to play a few more games. The problem I have with poker is this. I like blackjack. So you have to play in the tournament for like 12 hours. I'm a chatty individual, or I want to be left completely the fuck alone. There's no in the middle with me.
That's true.
There's no in the middle. I don't want to sit there and be talked to occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one day I wanted to be left the fuck alone. They kept on bothering me, asking for like, oh, so what happened on that hand? What happened on this? They'd come up because they wanted to put it in some type of like Twitter feed or something like that. And then the other episode, I was super chatty, and I think the people at my table were very happy to see me go. And I went in. I also had an edible, so I was high.
Oh my goodness!
I thought I got to change things up.
Well, since you've played it somewhat in a professional tournament,
I had one table where everyone was like. They'd come from like there's this other game that was going on. It was like Tournament of Champions where you have to have won a bracelet to enter this thing.
Yeah.
And then they were all like this. Yeah, I just got kicked out of the chair. Hey Sheila, well you got kicked out too. Oh, Mickey Knife Guy, how you going? Oh, they all fucking knew each other. Yeah, and then they're pulling out big wads of money like this. My pockets ain't big enough. Poker. Right? And then I'm there like this. I just got 40,000 in chips. So I don't think I can't beat those people. And also when because I'm not like, there's people who are way more famous than me who do it, but when you're a comedian, I think people do take a lot of joy in knocking you out.
Oh, for sure.
People were definitely gunning for me at the table.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a comedian. You're like a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's just they're like Mr. fucking big for his britches over here.
They have a story when they get home. Yeah, have you heard of him? I never fucking heard of him.
Yeah. Both were a big deal in the comedy world.
It was literally like this. I was at the table, and they were like this. One guy was like, "Hey, Jim, big fan of." Oh, thank you very much. It's very nice. You doing a show? No, I might be doing a show. And then as time went on, people were like this, and one said, "Yeah, my cousin just told me to tell you you're a cunt. I don't know." Because everyone's on their phones on the poker thing because you're all there all day. And then another one, "Are you celebrating April 18th anytime soon?"
Yeah.
They just figured out who I was while they were playing, and then sort of, it was quite bizarre.
Yeah.
You have some upcoming shows.
I do.
June 23rd, Reno, Nevada, and June 24th. It says Rohnert Park. I know that's near Santa Rosa, California. Both casinos. Play some poker. And then you got August 25th in Hartford, Connecticut, and August 26th in Providence, Rhode Island.
Hartford, Connecticut.
You ever played there? I don't know if you played Rhode Island. Have you ever played? Might be a state you haven't been to. It's very small.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe I have. It sounds like something I've done and then something I haven't done.
And then you got a bunch of stuff in Canada. It's all on Jim Jefferies.
Yeah, come along.
.com.
I'm very happy with the stand-up show at the moment. I think it's. I ran it so many times across Europe and everything. It's like when you play the Edinburgh Festival. You shouldn't see anyone in Edinburgh for the first 15 days. You should go in the last 15 days when they've figured the fuck what the show is. This show is figured the fuck out. I know exactly what it is. I know how to time it. And
I don't think I've seen any of your current set, which is weird for me because normally I would have by this point. But
yeah, you're not missing out on much. It's pretty bad stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm still trying to sell it to people. No.
Edit that out.
All the comments that have been coming in saying this is your best set ever.
Well, this is the thing, right? So people always go, "Oh, this is your best set," because they were saying that before my last special. That's the best material. When it's live, it takes on a different life to seeing it. And so people are like, "I've watched all the specials. This is his best show ever." Mm-hmm. They say that every time because you've just seen it live, and it's a lot more fun live.
And it's completely new.
And it's completely new to them as well. Like normally by the time they've seen the special, they might have seen me live and seen a joke here and a joke there, or seen me do something on a late night show or something.
The specials for almost every comedian are always going to be the worst version of that material you've seen.
It's the material a lot less loose than it should be.
It's just going to be it's better
also,
live.
It's also, I have to stick to an hour, so it's like I take all the air out of the bits in between.
Yeah.
There's never, I'm actually, people might not know this, but I do quite good crowd work, but you're never going to see it because it's not going to make it on the special. And I know a lot of comics now post pictures of the crowd work, and maybe I could do that, but I just feel like, I don't know, can't be asked. But you know, you're missing out on the crowd work. Also, there's jokes where for me especially, where I could get cancelled for them if I put them in a special, but you still do them live. So it's a little bit more racier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So come out and see it live. Yeah. I may not ever record it. I don't think I will. I don't.
Who knows? But there's all on JimJefferies.com. There's more dates in Canada. There's a bunch more in the States too, around the LA area. There's a bunch of shows in Oakland and Cincinnati, New York City, all that stuff. I'm going to be in Montreal, by the way, July 6th through 8th at the Comedy Nest. Wow. So if you're in the Montreal area,
that'd be right when the festival's on, isn't it?
Probably a week or two before. Yeah. July 6th through 8th, the Comedy Nest, Montreal. It's a fun club. And then July 9th, that same weekend, but on Sunday, Philly Punchline, one show only. So that's what I'm promoting right now. Come out to that, please.
Yeah, got to that.
Yeah. And follow us on Instagram at IDCat Podcast and check out Patreon, patreon.com/IDCat. June, we are not charging for June because of your travel schedule, we couldn't record. So we'll be back next week, I think.
And now it's time for our guest.
And we're going to switch positions in 3, 2, 1.
Please welcome our guest, Jay Yowler.
G'day, Jay. Now it's time to play.
Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Judging a book by its cover.
All right, Jay. I don't have anything to look at except apart from your clothes and what you're wearing. But you're a hip man. You're wearing jewelry. You've got bracelets on. So I'm going to assume that this is something to do with the entertainment business.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is it something to do with the music business?
No, it is not.
Oh, good.
Wait, you just got that from jewelry?
He's not an accountant, is he?
Maybe like a fun accountant.
And he lives in LA because he's here.
Yeah.
So not too big a swing, was it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Has it got to do with acting?
In what I do does have something to do with acting, but I'm not an actor.
Are you a director?
No, I'm not a director.
Do you work in the technical side?
I do.
We're talking about special effects?
Not so much special effects.
Yeah.
But
effects.
You've almost got nothing effects. This is going to be a bunch of stuff that you've heard, words, but probably don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is it a thing? Is it a real thing?
Yeah. It's like every time you've been
it's in the room with us.
On any TV show that you have had, it's happening right now. They've had to set this up.
Audio.
Yeah. No. That's right there.
Lighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, lighting. I know about lighting.
You think you do?
Well, I've been on a lot of sets.
This is film and televion lighting.
Oh no, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, film and television lighting.
But I do know they take longer to do lighting than they do to take acting. Fucking hell. They work on lighting 3 times longer than the acting. This is what it's like to be an actor. You sit around and they're setting things up. You get up there, you flub one line and they go, "We're losing light here, people." And you're like, I've been sitting here for fucking hours.
Yeah. I think, well, the lighting is important. So
for me, it is. Yeah. That's why I don't like doing the podcast that much, because I enjoy doing the podcast, but I wish the podcast was just audio. But we live in this fucking world where everything has to be a TV show for everybody constantly.
Yeah.
Right. And so I used to be able to rock. Even if you do like morning radio on terrestrial radio, you used to show up in your pajamas and look like a slob. And now they're streaming those people all the time. Whatever happened to having a good face for radio?
Yeah.
And my point is, I don't have a good face for TV either, and lighting hasn't helped that much.
You don't want to do the video. I know you've talked about it on the podcast.
It's also so when you do a special. So whenever someone meets you in real life, you're not wearing makeup, and you haven't got proper lighting on you, and you inevitably look shitter than they have seen you. Plus, you're always the oldest you've ever been. Whenever someone meets you.
That's true, yeah.
You're the oldest you've ever been, and they've just watched something from 10 years ago. And whenever they meet you, they go, oh, and I go, I've aged appropriately.
And it's not like they're meeting you face to face. Usually they're just lurking for quite a while, and you're doing things not knowing you're being watched. I had someone when we were playing poker go, oh, you sound a lot like Jim Jefferies. You even look like him a bit. And I said, yeah, I'm a lot fatter than him. And he went, yeah. And I was like, fuck. Fuck, because I slimmed down for telly.
Jay Yowler. Yowler is how I'm pronouncing it correctly.
That is correct.
Yeah, Jay Yowler is a gaffer based in Los Angeles, California. He has worked on a ton of classic comedies, including Dumb and Dumber, Road Trip, and Old School. He was the second unit gaffer for Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which comes out this Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Okay, this Friday. And he just wrapped the newest season of Grownish on ABC. You can find him on Instagram at GaffDaddy.
And he's my old boss.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah? How was Jack as an employee?
Jack was great.
I got better.
He got better. He was a kid off the street. He came to us and
that's how Jim found him too.
had a bunch of questions. And we thought, man, this kid is he's got
I
some
actually
good
walked.
questions.
I walked up to. They were shooting in my neighborhood in Atlanta. I just walked up and just started bugging them.
Oh, truly a kid off the street. Okay.
I told my guys, I said, get rid of that guy. I mean, I don't know who he is, but
He's a rescue.
I got pulled off. I got pulled off set. Maybe your fault. And then a week later, I was hired just by chance.
That's right.
And then I was with you for like 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get hired by chance if you're a kid off the street?
I was in the union.
How were you in the union?
I knew the vice president of the union. He just got me in when
privilege.
I did one day on Fast and Furious 7 and got in.
it was pretty easy in Atlanta to
Yeah,
get
it's a right to work state, so it's a little easier.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, make sure to pull that mic maybe a little closer.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You done do audio.
Yeah, it's lighting.
That's right.
Lighting guys. Don't know what
Although
they're doing.
that's the audio. That's a tougher job, I reckon. Not like artistically. Definitely not as hard artistically as lighting is. Lighting's very important, but you have to fucking carry that thing like that all day.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a kind of a job.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a job.
It's a bit of a job, for sure.
Holding the stick above your head is...
The stick. You're doing great on this quiz.
Yeah, the boom mic, the boom. Holding that above your head all day. Like we can go on all day about equality. We need more female directors, and I agree with that. But I've never seen anyone but a bloke hold the bloody stick above his head. You can quote me on that. There's never been any picketing for we need more women with sticks above heads.
Join the conversation. ID Cat. So, Jay, I'm going to ask Jim a series of questions about film and TV lighting, and you're going to grade him at the end of answering those questions. You're going to grade him 0 through 10, 10 being the best on his accuracy. Kelly's going to grade him on confidence. I'm going to grade him on etc. We'll add all the scores together. If you score 21 through 30, you're in the leading role, Jim.
All right.
You did really good. 11 through 20 is stand-in. 0 through 10, fluffer. Is that a real thing, fluffer? I don't think that's a... Nah, anyways.
At one time.
Yeah. I think
Did you work
back
on some
in the
porn?
day.
Okay. Maybe
I
we'll
never
get
did.
to- Okay. Very bad lighting in porns most of the time.
Not always. Some of the ones they did in the 90s when they really went for it.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about this OnlyFans world. We've lost the quality.
We've lost the stories.
We have.
Yeah.
We've lost the... Just chicks just with their fucking phone filming themselves. Fuck, it's like... I appreciate they need to make money and I get them, but where's the production quality?
Yeah. Hire some lighting. And okay, what is a gaffer? You've heard that term, right?
Guy sets up the lights, yeah.
Yeah,
Sets up
okay.
and rigs up the lights. There's a lot of fucking metal tubes, things and a thing, and then there's a bit of cellophane and a little flap that goes like this. And they're like, "Oh, move the flap a bit, move that there." Yeah, I've seen it.
These are a lot of terms that you should have heard. Working into what is a key grip?
I don't know. I
heard it though.
Yeah, it's a bloke who works for the gaffer, who I think the gaffer guy's in charge of everything, and then the key grip's the guy who does what the gaffer says. But also, I just want to make another point. Look, I love this business. It's done very well for me, but we don't all need credit all the time. Like, we all fucking fight for fucking wages non-stop, and I agree with that. Fight for wages, fight for what's right. But the idea of having to watch fucking hours of credits at the end of a bloody movie and I have to know who the second stand-in for an actor or whatever. When you buy a car, they don't tell you the steering wheel was made by Steve. You just drive away.
You are allowed to leave, right?
Yeah, you don't have to watch the credits.
No, but you understand, it's the only business. If we're going to do it, let's do it for who made this table, or just have a fucking written down where the wood was from, where the thing. It's the only industry. And I tell you, and the reason I'm doing, I once thanked some people in one of my specials. Now I thank fucking no one.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I missed a name.
Missed one name.
I missed one name. My life was over. This was a thing that they would only read. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I know what a key grip is.
I think in this industry, though, it pretty much works as your resume, right? Like, I mean, in other industries, you just write down where you worked, but here it's like it's a way to verify that this person has the talent and the skill to work on these level of projects.
I want to also do another one. Okay, while I'm here. I'm in the Writers Guild. I've got a pension in the Writers Guild. I've worked on several TV shows in the Writers Guild. But fuck me, why isn't stand-up comedy counted?
Yeah.
Why?
Writing, yeah.
Why isn't stand-up comedians who write and perform their material, who perform on Netflix or whatever, why doesn't that count towards them getting health care? A stand-up comedian gets zero health care or benefits.
Yeah, and it's crazy. On IMDb, it counts you as a writer.
Yeah.
And
but you don't get a credit. You don't get a writer's credit
for that.
What do you think? Like that seems to be.
Let's make some posters.
That seems to be an obvious.
Let's pick it out front of.
No, that seems to be an obvious piece of bullshit.
If it's a union,
I totally agree with you.
Like there's people who are in the Writers Guild for writing reality TV. Yeah. Their writing job was like sending his ex-girlfriend to fuck him over. That was their writing for the day.
Yeah, if it is a union job, yeah, like yours, your Netflix stuff is all union.
Yeah, we stand with you.
All right.
So I don't get SAG. SAG doesn't cover me for performing either.
Right.
Why is there little blinders on stand-up comedy?
Jim, right now is the time to voice your opinion on this.
That's why I'm doing it.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah.
100% why I'm bringing this up.
Send it in right now, especially at WJ, and also probably by the time this comes out. I know.
This will be out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow. All right. Well, anyways, the acting's coming next. That SAG. All right. What does a rigging gaffer do then?
Oh, they're the ones who actually set up all the frames. And
so then a gaffer is just there's all these different gaffers? Or I don't know the answer.
The main gaffer is like the director of the lighting, and he tells the key grip to go grab some things, and the rigger guy sets it all up.
Here's one I don't know, but I've heard. What is a best boy?
I have a million jokes we can make right now. I'll tell you, it's another job that they're not fighting for equality in. I'll tell you that right.
Yeah, there's no best girl.
Yeah. There's bus boys. I've never heard once going, we have to call them bus people. we have stood strong on bus boy for fucking years.
Bus person?
Yeah. What's the job? I have to pick up dishes and glasses off people's dirty tables. All right. Don't you want a bit of equality? No, we're fine. Thank you very much.
A bus person sounds like an insult anyways. Like it's just like someone that's poor or something. Bus person.
So I would say a best boy. You got to get rid of the term though, because if you had a best girl.
Yeah.
Some people go
good girl. It'd be good girl. Best boy and good girl.
Forrest just gave me the egg.
Yeah, really.
As soon as he said "good girl," oh god! I'm lucky I'm fasting today.
Okay, so you don't know what it is?
No, don't want to either. don't want to be part of your sordid game.
Answer that question. What do you yell when you turn on a light, like on a set? There's something that's said out loud.
Lights on.
Clap back, clap loud. Lights. It should be. I mean, I don't know.
I've been on.
Should be fairly obvious to everybody.
I'm trying to think. Oh, God, I must not pay attention because I've been on many sets.
I think the lighting happens a lot of times before you go on set, but I've been on on some of the productions, like in the sketch stuff we've been doing. You hear it. I've heard it constantly. I actually know this
It'll be something like lights are hot.
Something like that. Yeah.
That'll be one of those ones. Lights are hot.
Yeah. Okay. What is 3-point lighting?
3-point lighting.
Yeah. It's a TV film we're talking about.
Yeah, it's where you're lighted for several different camera angles.
Okay. I have a whole bunch of
like for multicam or something like that.
I have a whole bunch of different questions there. I'm gonna ask you some. I'll probably skip through them. We'll get back to them because it's this one seems. What is the difference between high key and low key lighting? What does that mean?
High key and low key. Low key is like using a frosted bulb next to high key, which is a brighter light. So it's more like dulled. Low key.
What about diffusion or bounce light? Do you know anything about either of those?
Bounce light is where they bring out the silver thing and they sort of stand from a side, and that's so that you don't just get shadows on the face going.
What's
that
the
way.
Silver thing though?
It's literally like a silver disc or a silver cardboard slate,
okay,
right? And so they hold that lowest, that when the lighting comes down, it bounces like that, so that you have a full flush, and so the lighting isn't just giving shadows on the face.
Sure, that has a name. I know the thing you're talking about. I don't know the name of that either.
Yeah,
I think this guy does.
Yeah. Well, that's shy. Okay. What is a stop? Is in reference to lighting.
Stop. That would be the metal flaps.
Okay. What is an Apple box family?
Well, I know what an Apple box is. An Apple box is just those little tiny boxes that we need an Apple box, and they're basically in old days what you'd put apples in, but for it's really to make Tom Cruise look a bit taller.
Yeah. You wouldn't put apples in them anymore. Yeah. But that's is that where they came from? I don't know. I know.
Yeah, they're like little wooden boxes.
Yeah, I don't know where the term came from.
But a couple of Apple boxes. I just watched that Michael J. Fox documentary. Very good. Very good. But it's funny how he got into the business. Being short really helped him because have you seen it yet?
No.
They wanted him to be. It was this Gary Coleman idea, right? You get a kid that's older that looks like they're younger, and they can act a lot better than having. So they wanted an 11-year-old in the thing, but they got him at 16 because he was so short. He still looked like he was 11, and so then he's like, this 11-year-old's very quick-witted. He's fucking 16.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at the positives. My son's short, see what happens.
So the Apple box is a box, but there's an Apple box family. I didn't write this question.
They're different size boxes for different. There's a little bit. There's a thing, and then there's a full Apple box.
And there's different ways you can position them. Do you know any of those terms?
Yeah, you can go up and high,
up, down. Yeah.
Side,
Okay. What is
on edge?
What is a practical?
It's practical prop, which means. That means it's lighting you can hold in your hand, like if you've got a flash torch in the scene.
Okay. A couple more questions here. We'll get to some of these ones we're skipping through. What is spill?
Spill is where the light flows over into a different section or whatever like that.
Okay. Do you know what the term magic hour, or it's sometimes called golden hour, blue hour is?
Magic golden hour. This is sort of, you're looking at just the 20 minutes before sunset or the 20 minutes afterwards, whatever, where the sky is all a beautiful golden color, and you only get that hour once a day.
Yeah,
and that's magical.
All right, that was good. Yeah. All right, here's some film equipment with weird names. What are these? See if you can get any of these. This is either called a tweenie, an in-betweenie, or an inky.
We don't call them that anymore. We've become a lot more tolerant of those people and their lifestyles.
Okay. What about a...
I didn't say what they were. You can't get in trouble.
Yeah. Here's one maybe you'll get. Baby stand.
Baby stand?
Baby stand. It's like, I guess it's like slang or terms for stuff.
It'd be just a smaller stand, yeah.
Okay. Mambo combo.
Mambo combo.
That Pollo Loco.
The Mambo combo. Don't know.
Okay. What about a cookie?
Cookie, that would be like something just you put under one of the legs to make it stop wobbling.
Okay. Butt plug?
Butt plug's a sexual thing.
Yeah, no, but in reference to... This would be stuff... Is this all lighting or is just film equipment in general? Yeah.
It's film equipment.
Yeah. Butt plug.
No, don't know. Don't need
okay. Lollipop?
How
about a stinger?
Stinger when you're playing baseball and you hit it not on the barrel.
Again, film, TV. Horse cock. There's something called a horse cock.
Wow.
Is this how you guys just entertain yourselves?
Yeah.
Horse cock?
That'd be a big dick.
All right, 2 more. Beaver board. You have any idea what that is?
Beaver board is where you put your horse cock.
And a Rocky Mountain leg.
This is all rubbish. Like, even if he says it's something, it doesn't need to be called any of these things. I know these things. Everything's called something stupid.
Okay.
Pointless.
Yeah.
Jay, how did Jim do on his knowledge of film, TV, lighting?
Fairly well.
0 to 10.
Got a couple of them really good.
Well, thank you.
10's the best. Yeah.
You got a couple 10s in there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, overall, what would you give him 0 through 10?
Oh, I'd say 6.5.
All right.
All right.
That's
Wow.
shabby.
It's impressive. Kelly, how do you do on confidence?
I'll give him a 5 on confidence. Would have been an 8 for audio if we were doing an audio episode.
Okay. I'll give you 12, Jim. Your leading role.
Ayo.
I don't want you to lose faith.
Pretty good.
You know, in your,
Pretty good.
what is a gaffer, Jay? Like, he says the guy who sets up lights. You know?
The gaffer's in charge of lighting, which is what I am. I have a whole group of electricians. It's not just me on a set. Normally you'll have 5, 6 lighting technicians. I'll have a dimmer board operator who only operates the dimmer board. I have a rigging gaffer, a rigging best boy. I have a best boy. The best boys basically are the ones who are in charge of hiring extra help when we need it, or ordering the equipment that I need to rig a location.
So Jack wasn't a best boy.
Nope.
Jack was not a best boy.
I was an electrician.
He was.
Really? That sounds higher up than best boy.
Yeah.
So best boy, is that how that got that term maybe? As it was just like...
He was the next best person on set in the lighting department or the grip department.
Well, that obviously would be a job that a female could do very easily. Why would we keep it at boy?
Well, there are many girls now doing that job, but they don't call it a best boy anymore. It's
Big-titted
ACLT.
Right?
It's called an ACLT, which is Assistant Chief Lighting Technician.
ACLT.
That's right.
All right, you got to cut that. That joke didn't land. I just
Wait,
All right, so that's me, so I'll cut that.
ACLT isn't as good though. It sounds like either something you would pool or a sandwich. It's not like... okay, and then the gaffer in charge is just... I mean, the key grip, is that the gaffer in charge?
Well, the key grip's in charge of rigging camera onto different things, whether it's a crane or a dolly or putting a point on something that I need to hang a light on.
So I kind of said that, right? Didn't
You
I?
kind of said it.
Yeah, you said gaffer in charge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that bit was right because I've been on set. And
Yeah.
I know that, but I didn't know the best boy bit.
Yeah, because there are so many people when you're on set.
There's a lot.
I mean, obviously, you're making the thing about the credits, but it is amazing, I think, when a
Oh,
TV
no.
or film's
It
going.
takes a lot of people to make things happen.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying people don't deserve credit.
No, I know that.
I'm just
I know.
saying it's the only industry where if you don't have it down, it's a big deal.
Aaron, do you have a best boy for in here? Yeah. What do you think about Aaron's lighting job? How's this?
Well, I don't think I'll comment on this too much.
I don't know.
No, it's okay.
Thought it was
It's
pretty good.
for a podcast.
I wasn't trying to sell monitor. I thought it was pretty good. I thought Aaron, yeah. Sorry,
Aaron
Aaron.
gets no credit for it, though, do you, mate? Nope. Yeah.
And then a rigging gaffer, are they the ones that actually set up the frames and stuff?
Well, the grips set up frames, sometimes called butterfly frames, which are different nets or diffusions or solids. My rigging gaffer generally will go into a location and everyone will look at it. The director will tell us which way we're going to be looking, what he wants to do. I'll decide how we're going to light it along with the director of photography. And I'll tell my rigging gaffer where we need to hang stuff from, how we're going to hang it, where we need to power it in from. And then he has a whole crew that will come in at some point and rig all these lights. So when we come in, we're somewhat ready to go.
How far in advance do you start planning for the lighting? Like, are you in on like storyboards where you're starting to plan there, or is it waiting until the set's built, or?
Sometimes storyboards, usually in the beginning of a feature, you might go through the storyboards. I mean, you kind of go back on them throughout a production. But
is there a certain type of lighting that when you see like one of your co-workers, whatever, when you see someone else, you're watching a film, you're like, fuck, Frank did that.
yes, most definitely.
Right?
Yes.
Because
Really?
you can always tell a Steven Spielberg thing. There's always light coming through a door or a little beam coming through,
That's right.
and then there's the little what's his name? Abrams always has
Abrams,
the
flares,
flares,
yeah.
and all, so there's certain people who do certain things. What are you known for? What do you do better than anyone else?
Everything.
All right.
No, I take it to heart, lighting. This is my 40th year doing lighting. So when I go into a location, I just can look at it and automatically know what it's going to take to light it. TV shows, you generally, you don't want to just spend money constantly. They're on a budget, just like everyone is. But when you're on a job like Transformers, you get much bigger toys to play with. You can kind of tell them what you need to light a whole city block, rather than just one little room like the one we're sitting in right now.
My old neighborhood, they used to film a lot of stuff in, and at night, and they would have those tower. So you'd have to pay someone's house. They were like in a house, and they would just crank that tower. I don't even know what that's called. It's like a thing with
Called Condor.
Condor.
there you go. Yeah.
Everybody wants money when the production rolls up.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than that. Yeah, the cunt who starts fucking mowing their lawn as soon as you start shooting.
Yeah.
No, this is in their house. This was like, there were certain houses. There was a street that they would do. It's like over in Atwater Village. All these little car rate, it's like North Atwater, and like the same houses would always have the light towers. I think they had a little cash cow going there or something.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I don't know what you get paid for a lighting tower in your house. Probably not a lot.
Is there anyone? Do you ever look at the cinematographers and you think they get too much credit? Like how important to production do you think lighting is in the ranking of things?
Well,
above actors, above directors, above cinematographers.
No, because I think it starts with the writers. If you don't have a good script,
the writing is most important.
It's very important. Yeah. So if you have a good script, that everything else.
But visually, just visually. Don't worry about the script.
Visually, it's all about lighting.
It's all lighting. It's all lighting all day.
Yeah.
But how do you get into, like, what did you
Not
study?
props. The prop people, are they cunts? Do you ever meet prop people and go, oh, fucking here he comes?
It's like,
Work with them every day.
Yeah. They're always... you get good prop people, you get bad prop people. And then you get the prop people who go on a bit too much. They come up and they go, we just want to take a photo of your hand and how you are holding the beer and what angle it's on. It's like, no one gives a fuck.
But how do you get into
and then you get the ones that don't notice. Like you walk in, you go, I had a different watch on in that scene.
That's
right. The continuity.
That happens.
Yeah.
Continuity.
I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to say shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the other night I was watching America's Got Talent. Our buddy Orlando Labo was on it, and it was like the audition ones, but Howie Mandel's glasses kept changing. They were like just way different, and I was like, that no one like, because it felt like Simon Cowell always looks the same.
Especially because glasses are such a consistent thing. Like normally you wouldn't be changing them a lot, so it's even more noticeable.
Yeah, I was taken out of it. I was taken out of the reality. Anyways, but I was saying, how do you, like, what do you have to, you go to school for lighting, or do you study your electrician, or what do you?
Yeah, a lot of people go to school for it.
Yeah.
They go to film school. I did not. My best friend growing up was from a circus family. 7 generations of circus family, the longest living American circus family.
Bearded lady she was.
Anyway, he went down to Dino De Laurentiis Studios in Wilmington, North Carolina, and called me right after he got a job down there and said, hey, you want to come down and make some movies? I lived in Ohio. It was the best thing in the world. Go down to Wilmington and start working on some movies. And that was my start. I was 19.
And then you kind of get associated, right? Like, do the same directors call you, or the same, or whoever?
Director of photography.
Director of photography, sorry.
Or the gaffer. Well,
yeah.
Am I too old to get into it now at 46?
Not at all.
Do you want to?
Why not?
I'm 73.
Seems like.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow, you look amazing.
You're 73?
Yeah.
Looking amazing.
What?
I work out.
You look great.
Are you actually 73?
No.
I was going to say, I was like, you're making Jim feel bad about himself, but I could see it on his face.
You were talking about that earlier, and that's a joke that I tell people on set all the time, because it's like, well, if you tell them you're 10 years, 15 years older than you are, they'll look at you and go, wow, you look great.
Oh, I've done that with lots of people.
You tell them your age.
I tell them I'm in my mid-50s, you look, but it's when they're still disappointed, they go, oh, no, you look all right.
Yeah. You're doing pretty good.
I look amazing for 55. Get the fuck out of here.
It's when you get the look when you tell them your actual age, and they go, ooh.
I love when you meet someone who thinks they look very young and they're like this, and you go, how old are you? And they go, have a guess, and they're like, I'm 34, and you're like,
Yep, you're spot on.
Yeah, and they go, "Can you believe it?" And you're
Or they're like, younger than I thought.
I actually can't, but not because of the reason you're thinking. But yeah.
But everyone thinks they look younger. I don't think many people think they look older. But you do look younger than 73.
Thanks.
Looking great. I think that there would be more labor than you'd want to do.
You'd have to be 59 because he's been doing it for 40 years and he started at 19.
I'm 60, so
41 years. There you go.
there you go.
Crushing it.
I'm saying if to be a gaffer or a key, I think there's too much more labor than you want to do at this point in your life.
I'll probably wait. Like do it professionally. I've decided.
Just on the side.
Just as a hobby.
Just on the side.
You don't strike me as somebody who really wants a job.
I can't make things look nice. I've never been able to make. I can't make photographs look nice. I don't know. I have ideas. Like I've always decided how the backdrops of me shows. Well, I have ideas and concepts and stuff, but I can't make things look nice. I think that would be. Yeah, that would be my worst job. I think would be being a lighting person. I can't make things although I was in a movie once where I was like, it was a pretty cheap movie, and they were like, fuck it, we need to film this next scene. Let's just light it like it's day. And I'm like, this doesn't look like day.
Yeah.
We've all got 7 shadows.
Yeah, that's you
So
can
you
tell
can be
bad
consultant.
lighting.
Just tell them, bad idea.
And then I was like, it was in Australia, and I was like this, hey, in America, and everyone's like, oh, here he goes.
I would think that is the big thing in lighting is if the lighting's good, you don't notice it.
That's right.
And when it's bad, because there's sometimes I'm watching something, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
like, oh, the lighting's awful. Yeah. By the way, I was impressed the other day. You were doing some painting.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Where
On
were you
a
painting?
ladder.
I'm painting things.
Oh, you're varnishing?
Yeah, it was doing some
Oh,
staining.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was driving by and I stopped in and I
Nice.
saw it and I was like,
I'm like a guy.
yeah. Yeah, it did last long, but you're on a ladder. I was impressed, but also
pretty good.
Someone should be holding this. But all right, what do you yell when you turn on a light? Is it lights on or lights are hot?
Well, there's a lot of things you can yell.
Hot lights. Get your hot lights.
One of the electricians I used to yell ignition, just as fun.
Ignition.
But you yell lights, you yell watch your eyes, which is you can't do, of course.
Yeah.
You can't watch your eyes. You don't want to be blinded.
I thought it was like strike or something.
So
Striking.
there isn't an official term.
Well, striking is generally what they do, but we don't. Generally, we're in there lighting.
Lights on.
strike the lights or strike it when it's hot. I don't know. Edit that out. 3-point lighting, is that when you're lit from several camera angles?
Well, 3-point lighting is a basic term for a lighting setup. You have your key light, your fill light, and your backlight. And that's a 3-point lighting. So your key might be from the side or 3/4 from the front. Might even be straight on. You'll have a little bit of fill, a rim light. So it's 3 basic lights is what you need to do.
And is it true that everyone looks best in candlelight?
Well, candlelight looks great. It's romantic. It's
everyone looks good.
warm.
If you go on a date with candlelight, you'll do all right.
That's right.
Yeah, but you might not know what the other person looks like then.
Low key romantic.
Oh, they're going to be better looking than me.
Okay. And then, so there's hard light and soft light. We didn't even go, but that seems pretty self.
I would think that's
Yeah. And then high key and difference between high key and low key lighting. Low key lighting is a frosted bulb, Jim said.
that's where you kind of failed on that one.
Yeah.
High key you see it in a lot of comedies. They want to see the joke, so it's usually brightly lit.
And soap operas are all...
Well, soap operas
Warmly
are a whole nother issue.
they're a whole thing. I don't even know who lights those things.
But low key is more contrast.
I've never seen my life in the same light as a soap opera. There's never been like a day where I've walked through the world going, it's a bit soap opera today.
Yeah.
They do something different with the lights.
Every light's coming on from every angle.
That's right.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. The comedy isn't dark lighting ever.
For the most part. That's right.
I mean,
when I was making the NBC pilot, when they were building the sets and everything, I had a lot of opinions on different things. And I think the better comedies are slightly gloomier lit. Mm-hmm. Cheers was a very gloomy lit sitcom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Seinfeld was a gloomy lit. Friends was a warmly lit sitcom. Like it felt all New York.
Yeah.
And then you get these other ones that are just like fuck with brightness, and I reckon comedy should be warmly lit. There you go.
It should be warmly lit for sure. But there's a difference between warm and high key where shadows are filled in.
Yeah, I didn't ask
You know
that.
how
What is
like
color
the,
temperature?
you know
So
how
what
like
is-
the more modern comedy, like I know like The Office, for example, has to be brightly lit because they're dealing with infrared lights that's meant to be the lighting and so that's fluorescent lights. That's the word I was looking for. So that's sort of more brightly lit. But I reckon your sweet spot of the multicam isn't the bright lights.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, because I didn't ask what is color temperature. So you have your high key, your low key, and then there's temperatures within that. You're saying, right?
Color temperature is Kelvin. It's the color temperature of the light. So like tungsten would be warm.
Tungsten's like indoor, like incandescent, like light
That's right.
bulb standard things.
Oh yeah.
Daylight would be blue, more blue.
Yeah.
So
My wife is very particular. She likes to audition with sunlight.
Why is that?
I don't know. She goes, I got to do this audition. I got to get it on tape. And the light's not good for another hour. I'm like, what the fuck?
Because if she's like, does she do it like up against a window with the sun?
Yeah,
hitting her?
It's not direct sun. It's bounced light from the sky, so it's all really soft and nice.
Yeah, so it just probably like makes her skin look really nice. It's like a filter. It's like using a filter. Good lighting.
I don't know.
I don't know any. I don't know what lighting is good for me. I don't even know what my good side is. I don't know how to take a picture. That's what I'm trying to say. I know you take more pictures than me. I take plenty of pictures, more than the average person. But I noticed you have like a thing. You turn a certain way. You do a thing.
Oh, yeah, because I take photos of people.
Yeah, you do like a little. No, I know, but I'm saying when I do it, I'm always like I don't know what side. You have a side?
No, I don't have a side, but I try to angle my body ever so slightly.
Yeah.
When I do the photos, but like most of the time it's the photos with couples, I'm normally just in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
With my arms around, me jacket up like this, me neck facing out, and me little pot belly.
It's like a tiny bit of midriff.
And then I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, man. It's their photo, not mine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bloody look at it.
Occasionally they tag you though, and then
then I get me tag off. I've learned how to detag
block 'em.
myself.
you detag you
I
from fans' photos.
Yes. If I look like a bag of shit, I do. There's nothing wrong with it. I'll like their photo, like thanks for coming, like the photo, then I detag the fuck out of it. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that shit.
Diffusion and bounce light. Jim said, well, for bounce light, he said they bring out the silver thing.
Yeah.
You don't get shadows in the photos, and then they bounce the light off the silver
well,
thing.
diffusion is just like on this
Yeah.
light here. You got some diffusion. It's a
Good job, Aaron.
soft wrap that's on the front of it that softens the light more. A bounce light, you can do the same thing with a bounce light because you're bouncing the light onto the person.
Yeah.
That will become a little softer than a hard light.
What's that
So
disc
there's
called?
variations in on.
What's these things called that you bounce it with?
Well, we have bounce boards,
Bounce boards.
Good
Reflectors.
job. Yeah, you got there.
reflectors.
Yeah, bounce boards.
Yeah,
That was
I've-
easy.
I've
Better than
seen-
horsecock.
I've been in front of some bounce boards in me day.
Yeah, I've seen them too. I just don't know what they're called.
There's a bunch of different bounce boards too. They make them out of all kinds of different materials. So
And then what is a stop? Is it the metal flaps?
no, that would be the barn doors.
Yes.
Some lights. Nowadays we're using a lot of LED type lighting, a lot of softer lights.
Yeah.
But a stop is directly in relation to how much light is being let into the sensor. So
Over the camera.
yeah, on the camera itself.
And the metal
how much light
flaps
you're
are
letting.
on the Tin Man's
You want this,
wife.
Jay? They show what this thing is.
Well, this is a light meter.
Oh, I know this thing. Yeah, they hold this thing in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a light meter.
Buttons
Yeah.
on the bottom right.
Oh yeah, there
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
you're telling him how to turn it on.
He has a nice one. Mine's the shitty
Yeah,
one.
this is like a little baby meter, man.
So wait, that just tells you what to do?
It does. When you read the light, we're reading 5.6 here, but you have it at 1500 ISO. I'd probably
Yeah.
rate it at like
You
800.
idiot, Jack?
Normally, we
Partially, yeah.
When you look at this. And
I'd have it at 700, but
what would be ideal to film in right now?
most people will rate it at 800. They'll start at 800 for an interior of a.
And we're at 5.6?
Well,
That's what the
that's
lens setting
ISO.
is.
Oh, okay.
Or 5.6 at 1,000 or whatever it was set to the ISO.
1,600 ISO.
1,600.
And so what should we be here?
You might want to go down to 800.
That's why I
You
look
just
so
tap it.
terrible.
It's not
Podcast lighting's a whole different thing, though.
It's touchscreen.
Aaron's feeling attacked.
I see.
Hey, what lighting makes me look less fat? What is it?
Very dark.
Pitch black.
Yeah.
See, we're a 4 at 800 in here.
Candles out. The less, you just want really dark. You ever seen that movie with Vin Diesel, Pitch Black?
Wait, why don't we just do this podcast in candlelight?
Yeah, good. Yeah, we should change that to that.
Make it intimate.
Yeah, and then what is a practical? Is that
A practical is the light. It's a light bulb that's in a regular light that might have a shade on it.
okay?
That's the practical.
Oh, it's just like a regular light.
It'll be like on camera.
That's right.
Oh, and then the Apple box. So Jim got the Apple boxes right. Is that where they came from? Because they used to use the name Apple box. Or they used to use actual Apple boxes.
I'm not real sure where the name Apple Box came from. They used to use them in the early days of film. That would be maybe the quickest thing to grab for someone to stand on
Yeah.
to get them a little higher. But yeah, there are 3 positions basically. They call it New York on the high side, either Chicago or Texas on the medium side, LA for the flat side.
Oh, so you give me an Apple box, New York.
New York, you'd stand it up on it.
Strike it.
That's right.
Drag it.
I know what's going on here. I'm ready to go.
You got the lingo.
Yeah.
And then what is a spill?
Exactly what Jim said it was. It's the light spilling out of a light that you may not want
Thought he was
spilling
like
out of a light.
BSing. Yeah.
Nope, he got that. He hit that on.
Did you just guess that one?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Years ago, I came up with a thing. We used to use a lot of tungsten Fresnels, and they just had all kinds of spill. So you'd either put a foil wrap on them that was called black wrap. You'd wrap this thing around the light would get scalding hot and sometimes burn the bulb out, melt down the head. I came up with a thing that was just a piece of metal that attached to the bottom of the light, and it was called a spill ring. And one of the guys from Airy came to visit me on set, and he looked up and he goes, "What's that on that Airy head up there?" I said, "I call it a spill ring." Well, cut to 6 months later, they now have that attachment in their catalog called a spill ring.
Damn.
So
Wait, you got credit for it or no?
Get anything?
I didn't get any credit.
Yeah, see,
for it.
that's where you need credit. You need credit for that.
I get credit on other things also.
Jay gets ripped off all the time.
Yeah,
Tell him
but-
about the light up shoes.
Yeah. Well,
You invented light-up shoes. My
When-
son wears those.
when I was in my early 20s, I was working with a lady cinematographer. She was the first woman in the ASC, Breanne Murphy. And we were always trying to come up with new things. And I told her one day, I said, "I got an idea." And she goes, "What?" And I said, "Shoes that light up when you take a step."
Yeah.
So she had some people. She goes, "I know someone we can talk to about that." So we went and I presented it to them. They loved the idea. They said, "Make us a prototype." Well, I was in my 20s and I was working all the time. I was running around doing all kinds of stuff. Just time got ahead of me. 2 years later, Reebok came out with shoes that light up when you take a step.
Damn.
Well, that's like your battery, Jim.
I got the battery.
Someone's going to invent
The
it.
battery doesn't run out.
Yeah.
The other thing, I also invented.
That'd be good.
I also invented the. I had this idea years ago for a picture frame where all your digital pictures and the pictures would be different, and if you touch it, the picture would move ever so slightly. You know, they do that.
There you go.
The picture, with the picture frame with a
you touch
picture.
your phone and it goes sort of
It's like a live
The
photo.
live photo, you mean?
Yeah, live photo. I had the idea for live photos before live photos happened.
I've never heard this one. I've heard the battery one.
I just didn't get off the ground in time. It's my mistake.
I've never even heard you mention it though.
No,
Like,
I
what would be
remember
the point?
thinking it'd be good if you press a photo and you could see if the people were truly happy or whether they were putting on, because everyone in photos just like that. What's the little bit before and afterwards? I
Yeah.
thought that would be a nice.
Yeah, I had a thing for a while after my shows that I told people I'd take photos with them, but they had to be candid because I didn't like doing like these, and that didn't go over well. People don't like that. People want to be smiling.
People like to put your arm around each other and you smile facing forward.
But you're never doing that in real life. So you're capturing a moment. Let's say you're on vacation. They're like, "Hey, everybody, let's take a picture," and you all stand in a certain way that you don't stand like that at any
Naturally,
other
yeah.
point ever in your life. You're capturing a moment by doing something you don't do except in that moment. Stupid.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
to show that you all got together to put effort in to capture the moment.
I know, but you could kind of do it like you just kind of sitting there.
Have you
Like-
looked back at pictures from the 90s of like when you're in college and all that type of stuff. It's insane. Women didn't know how to pose. Like men have always not known how to pose, but now with the having a camera phone and having a mirror and all that stuff, everyone sort of knows an angle or a thing that looks good. You look back at pictures of us from the 90s at a party. Let's all take a photo.
Yeah. You had a disposable camera. You didn't get to take it again if you looked up.
If you took the photo, if you wanted to look at that photo, you had to go over to Kevin's house and sit around the whole thing. So no one gave a fuck.
You had. Yeah, that was the craziest thing. Is like, so you'd pose and you'd be like, I want to remember this pose. You get it developed and you're like, terrible pose. I'll remember for next time, and then it would be like months later and you'd be like, new pose.
It's a year-long process to find a pose.
Now it's just like, and then you get it. Yeah, it's a good point.
No, my son literally gets more photos taken of him in a week than I have my entire childhood.
Yeah.
There's like 20 photos of my childhood. And
there's so much data being taken up by photos that no one's ever going to look at.
I have like 75 videos of my dog snoring, like 3-minute videos.
I know you've had your dog
in the same position.
You've had your dog 1 month.
It's like almost 2.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, magic hour, golden hour, blue hour. You got that right, I think. 20 minutes before after sunset. The sky's a beautiful golden color, and it's magical.
It is magical. I always say that when I'm in the car, it's golden hour.
Yeah.
Say a bit of fun.
But what does that mean in TV or in film or something? I mean, you can't shoot that long.
Exactly what it is. What he said.
I don't know what you call it an hour.
You got to catch it. Like, you know that it's the reason that LA became the movie capital. It never rains.
Yeah.
And you can drive for an hour and you can be in the snow. You can drive for 40 minutes and you can be in desert. The days are really long. You can make anything look like anything, and just there's never any wet days. It's the perfect weather for film. And now, because of taxes and shit like that, no one films here.
That's right.
That's right. Everyone lives here and no one films nothing.
How do you light a green screen? I didn't even ask this. Do you know?
Well, green screen or blue screen, you generally will put a light on it. If it's a green screen, you sometimes want a saturated green light on it, but it's not necessary in today's world. You can pretty much light a green screen or blue screen as long as it's even throughout top bottom. You can light it with just about anything.
All right, so there's certain shows to me that I watch that I think that shows a blue show, a green show, or a yellow show. Now, do you know what I'm talking about? So it's like when you watch Ozark, there is 100% there's a blue filter over that show. When you watch Better Call Saul, that's a yellow show. Along with, there was the guy who killed Gianni Versace. The whole thing's got like a yellow tinge. I think sometimes they do the yellow to go the 80s. For whatever reason, they think the 80s.
The movie Traffic did they did different colors for the different plot lines. It was like blue, yellow, white, like.
But I'm not imagining that, right?
No, you're not imagining it.
That's a thing that's going on.
And that's a cinematographer's or maybe even the director's choice how they want it to look. I did a movie years ago in Puerto Rico, and we used 7 different film stocks to go through 7 different seasons. And you couldn't tell it at the end of when it was all cut together. You couldn't tell one from the other, really.
Yeah.
If you're going high contrast or something like that, or sepia.
But how do they make it? Is that a camera thing making it? Like, because Ozark's blue. Yeah, it's just a blue show. Thing. It's a camera thing. It's not you. You don't have to do it.
No, it's all built into the camera. The cinematographer may use a filter or, change what color temperature the cameras are running at, because that can affect the color outcome.
Do you ever get yelled at as a gaffer or light in the lighting set? Because there's always meltdowns at some point on TV or film.
I've not ever been yelled at.
Yeah, no Christian Bale.
Fuck, I've been yelled at on set so many times. I get yelled at when I'm the star of the show. Yeah. People find a way.
Yeah, that's true.
I have been yelled at on every show I've ever been. I've been yelled at by people who are below me in the fucking staff.
Yeah.
I have no authority whatsoever.
I've
only yelled once on set, and that was in Atlanta. I don't know if were you there?
I think I was there for it. It was not my fault.
No, it was not your fault.
Best boy.
But I had a little bit of a meltdown with some electricians at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That was probably the maddest I ever got.
The worst feeling I've ever had was me, DJ, and Dan went shot. And I've talked about this before. We showed up on set, And what we normally did was, what happened when the lighting people and the people setting up cameras, we would get on set. So the three of us, we were in a sitcom together. The three of us would do this sitcom, and we all sort of knew. I'd written the sitcom, so for me it was like easy to remember lines, even though I wrote it months ago or whatever. But we would sit down while they were setting up the lights and setting up the cameras, and then we would gangbang we would figure out really quickly how to get the lines. Like the three of us would run them.
Gangbang, that's what you call it.
But like we used to say that in scripts, like let's gangbang this and get out of here. Hey, like you know what I mean? Like
that might be to you guys.
We all hands
on deck.
Yeah, we all got together to figure it out. All right,
nobody gets to sit in the corner and videotape.
Yeah, you're all sorted people. Bloody hell, you bloody PC brigade, the lot of you. Anyway, so we would sit there and we would figure out our lines very quickly. Then by the time the lighting and cameras were done, we would go into set. We never practiced our lines before the night before or anything like that. The three of us knew how to. We had a system, right? And then what we would do is we would always film the wide shot first. We would ask for the wide shot first. And then you would go through, and then the close-ups would be last. So you could fuck your lines up in the wide shot because it didn't matter because you weren't going to use too much of that footage. And by the time you got to your turn, we've already done the scene 5 times. Now I know my lines. We're all good, right?
Yeah.
But one time we rock up there and we get there, we get our breakfast burrito, we get put in the car, we get taken to set. We normally say hello to all the lighting guys. Hello, how you going? Over at Craft Services, get the donut or whatever, and wait for them to do it. Then we figure out line. For whatever reason, the lighting guys and the camera people had gotten in there early and they were all set up and ready to go. And so the three of us walked up on set and they go, okay, we're ready to do a take. And we just looked at each other. Now, we hadn't discussed...
You're like, we haven't even done our gangbang.
Well, this is the whole thing. We hadn't discussed... Did you know the lines? We hadn't... All three of us thought we were the only one who didn't know. I so little knew what was going on in that scene that I didn't know... It's not that I didn't know what my dialogue was. I didn't know what the episode was. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no...
You didn't know the plot.
I didn't know what the emotional state of my character was in any way. Right? And so we got on... And so I looked at so DJ got down into his wheelchair and Dan was normally standing up in some scene or I was standing up. And so Dan stayed and then I stayed seated in the couch in that little living room we'd have on the set. And then they went action, and I was like, please, someone say something that jolts my brain, and then I'll be ready to go. And the three of us just looked at each other like...
Got nothing.
Nobody, not one of you.
We didn't even have a script to pull out or at the end.
What's this show again?
And we got yelled at that day. Because the three of us just... Very unprofessional.
Yelled at all of you guys?
All three of us. We just went, we're really sorry. Give us 10 minutes. The whole day's over. You know, everything's fucked up. You guys
golden
fucked
hour.
up. Yeah, golden hour. We're going to miss golden hour. You cunts.
Well, and Jay's worked with DJ too because you did Road Trip.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
these are connected.
Yeah.
Oh, so Scott Armstrong wrote that. I worked with Scott.
Yeah.
So Scott wrote that, and he also wrote Old School.
I did
Old School. How did you light Will Ferrell's penis when running through the street?
Well, he actually wore a sock.
Boo!
But
Show us your dick.
I've worn one of them before. They're less flattering than your dick hanging out.
It is.
Because what happens is it's a sock, and so it's not like a big long sock. It's like just a little sack. And you put it over your balls and your dick, and then you pull the cord, and then it's just like your meat just in a sack, and then your pubes hanging out over it's like...
It's not like you don't know what's in there.
Yeah, it's like you'd be better off just people seeing your dick. That's right. And also...
I don't think about the pubes.
Yeah. Everything's just hanging out the side. And also, it just looks uncomfortable, like you've got a drawstring around your dick, but you're like, all right, this is what we're doing to make everyone happy, make everyone comfortable in the room.
Yeah, but he had his ass out.
You
have to light his ass.
I done that. I did that. I was in the Hasselhoff movie. I had one naked scene where I had to come out wearing a sock or something.
I still have never seen that movie.
I've never seen it either. Thank God.
I have also not
We
seen
shot that scene up in outside of Pasadena,
Right.
on Side Street there.
Yeah.
And it was just out in the open. People could see what was going on.
So why is Will Ferrell running that thing?
Well, he wasn't Will Ferrell by then. I used Saturday Night Live.
It's pretty big. Yeah,
It was just before Elf, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was already SNL famous, and
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. And then, who else was in that movie?
One of the Wilson brothers.
Yeah.
And
Luke Wilson.
what's his name?
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Vince
Of course.
Vaughn.
Yeah, there was huge.
It was like pre-big social media, though, so that's why there wouldn't have been so much talk about
or
it. Now
picture,
you wouldn't have been
yeah,
able
they'd be
to.
like, Pharaoh's in a sock in front of my house.
Oh, yeah. The amount of footage that would have come out
Yeah.
otherwise.
Snoop Dogg was in it for
Oh, yeah, he was in that
a
scene.
couple days.
Yeah, he was in that scene where he runs down the street. With
My
his-
wife was just in a movie that Snoop Dogg was in. The one about dominoes.
Oh, yeah.
It was directed by an NBA
Baron
player.
Davis.
Baron Davis
Yeah,
made
he used
a
to be
movie
an
about dominoes.
He
my
wrote and
wife's
directed
in.
it. Yeah. Did you watch it?
I did, yeah. It was all right. Yeah.
Yeah? I never seen it. Wait, what's it on?
Yeah, I think we
Everybody.
bought it on Amazon or something like that. I couldn't tell you what happened, but we watched
Jim's
it.
wife. Career.
I don't think she gets any extra money if you do download it or anything.
Yeah. Here's some terms that I asked Jim. I don't think you knew any of them. Tweenie, in-betweenie, or an inky. What is that? He said we don't call them that anymore. We've got to be a lot more tolerant
Yeah,
of
we don't-
people and their lifestyles.
We don't really even have those. Those are kind of old retired lights. They were a 150, a 300, and a 650 watt
Other old
type
light,
lights.
yeah.
So they were just different wattage, small lights, and they were just old Mole Richardson lights.
What about a baby stand? Is that a smaller stand?
No, a baby stand is something that you would put a light on that has a baby receiver. It might be a Fresnel of some sort. It could be any number of lights that has a baby receiver
What's
on
a
it.
baby receiver?
It's a female receiver, and on the top of the baby stand is a pin. Pretty much about the size of your finger, and the light slides right on it, and you lock it down.
So this is where all these sexual terms are coming from.
Well, kind of.
Well, you know, male and female
Yeah,
connections.
yeah,
and
sure, of
different
course,
things.
yeah. But like a mambo combo.
To actually put them together, making them actually binary.
A Mambo combo is a very big stand that the grips use mostly. They use them to hang or hold up big frames to diffuse light.
That's why you never know what's going on in these things, because all these terms.
Yeah.
You're like Apple
It's a
Box,
totally different
Chicago
language.
with a mambo combo.
Well, it's to
right.
keep other people out of the job.
Yeah.
That's why everyone does everything. That's why lawyers only exist to fucking
Yeah.
do contracts.
That's so
Because they speak in their own language. And then you need one of the people who speak that
And
language.
if you don't
to
understand the
fucking-
language, you can be in
I
trouble.
pay so much money to lawyers every time I do a gig. Every time I do a fucking show, there's some contract.
Yeah, and there's all this Latin.
Oh,
Like Latin shit's like,
and then, we've looked over it, we've done a thing. Oh, it's okay by us, is it?
yeah.
I'm sure you're worried all day, lawyers.
Barn doors, I didn't ask, but you said that's the metal flaps. And
That's right.
Butterfly
To cut the
frame.
light.
I don't know if we...
Well, butterfly frame, they got that term because in the early days of filmmaking, there would be a guy, a grip, that would hold a long pole that had a big round frame on it that had a net or a diffusion on it. And they resembled a butterfly net.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they were called butterfly frames. But
Those are the big square things you see on sets.
That's right.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
have different
And-
materials on it.
Did you want to be an electrician, Jack? What stopped that dream?
I was doing it for a while, and all the adults in it said, "You don't want to do this for a living. Get out of it."
That's what you told him, Jay?
it'll beat you up after a while.
But you
It's
look so young.
equipment. Well, I'm the gaffer. I can, I don't have to carry the equipment like my guys do.
He could be a gaffer by now. Not by now, but eventually.
He could be if he was.
Do you still remember what my nickname was? You guys all gave me on set.
Oh, no.
I think Jack does.
Yeah.
Noodle arms.
Cum bucket.
Noodle arms.
Did you say?
Yeah, noodle arms. That's right.
He actually brought you here
I'm
for
sorry about that.
revenge.
Is that in salmon pants? I had both.
Yeah.
Salmon pants.
Salmon, it's noodle arms, salmon
Noodle
pants.
arms.
Now they would bloody sue for that. Now
that's right.
you'd be up at HR all now.
That's right.
They call me noodle arms. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but they said at the end I was
Hurt my
rigatoni. I was spaghetti at the beginning. I got to rigatoni.
Wait,
Rick
meaning he's
Anthony.
weak? He was weak?
He was weak in the beginning, but
They left me the tweenies and in betweenies.
it's a lot of heavy equipment that you got to.
You could write a children's book, Noodle
It's
Arms,
true.
Salmon Pants.
Yeah.
I definitely was strong by the end of that TV show. I was pretty strong.
Yeah.
And then I lost it all when I went to school.
I'm so laughing because Jim said cum bucket, and then it just like flew by.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah,
A lot of my
it was
jokes-
almost
That was his
time.
nickname?
A lot of my disgusting jokes aren't landing today. But I'm all right with it. Cum bucket enjoyed it.
Cum bucket loves it.
We got that one right under the edge. We almost didn't get a cum reference in it. Is a cookie?
You know what's weird? People have now been calling me fuckface ever since we posted that. People just writing to me like, "Hey, fuckface," and I forgot that we even did that. bit.
about your nickname.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like, "What the fuck is this person coming in?
That was his
You're
mom's
like, I got a
nickname.
lot of
for
hate in
him.
the
This
comments.
person's coming in so hot."
Your mom.
Yeah, my mum used to call me fuckface. Isn't that terrible?
At 10.
That is
At 10,
terrible.
she used to go, "Where's fuckface? That bloody idiot.
Yeah.
Fucking fuckface."
Confirmed by your brother.
Yeah, confirm my brother. Or my real name's Jefferies. She used to call me Jeffrey because she said I never paid attention. What a terrible bloody...
Fuckface is worse, but still,
Ah,
Jeffrey's
yeah,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but fuckface was... Yeah, that
Does she
was-
still call you that?
No, she's dead.
Oh,
She's dead,
That's just sweet.
so I could call her that with no repercussions.
That's when you're having a nice tender moment.
Yeah, sometimes I think, oh, what would I do? Fuck face, I wish you were here.
Is a cookie something you put under a leg to make it stop wobbling?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
no, it's not.
I was excited for
That's
you.
a coaster.
A cookie is
Sugar
a
packet.
shortened term for cucalorus, which is usually it's a piece of wood that's got a big cutout in it that
yeah.
resembles light going through trees, or it breaks the light up in ways that
So you get that little
Gives you-
shadow pack.
Okay.
A cucalore is what it's called?
cucalorus,
Cucalores.
cookie
then
for short.
A butt plug, Jim said he didn't know what that was in relation to lighting. He knew
Yeah.
what it was.
I know what it is in relation to the light.
Butt plug is actually it's a piece of equipment. We don't call them butt plugs anymore either because
Sure.
of
There's a
HR.
fucking noodle arm, dude.
It's basically a junior spud with a baby pin on top, and that slips into a combo stand to
Yeah.
be able to put a light on top of
When
it.
you were saying that before, I was like, that's going to be one of the
All right,
That's
so
right.
so who was the soft cock who bloody complained? who went to HR?
lot
Went,
of
I
them.
don't feel comfortable in my work environment because they call this spindly thing a butt plug.
So what's the horse cock then?
Horsecock is our biggest, heaviest, thickest cable that we use on set.
Mm.
Four
Yeah,
aught.
it's
Plus,
yeah.
also it's his nickname.
They suck.
He had noodle arms and horse cock. They used to show
Noodle
up.
Arms had a hard time with horsecock because it's
And it comes in 25-foot lengths, 50-foot lengths,
That's
and
heavy.
100-foot lengths.
yeah. When I was
So the 100
Why
foot.
didn't you use a dolly? Why were you trying to lift
Well,
this
'cause-
just over your noodly arms?
you missed the days when I was rigging. You would have laughed your ass off. But it was it's 100-foot long cord. It's a pound per inch, so it's 100 pounds. And watching Noodle Arms try to wrap that thing up and then throw it on his shoulder and then put it in a cart
Yeah.
was. I mean, it was.
Wait,
it
the
was
horse cock
terrible.
is a pound per inch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
So 100,
shit.
100 pound.
So you know when you're at like a
Yeah,
concert
yeah.
and you see like all those big cords
Yeah,
running,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
basically that, but there's 5 of them for one line.
That's right.
Oh, it's hell.
Holy cow. Yeah.
And
that
you
would
have to
be-
coil that up a certain size and tie it and then throw it up on your shoulder.
Why haven't
to
you
throw
gone
it on.
cableless? What's wrong with a bit of Wi-Fi? Bluetooth. Why can't you Bluetooth your lights?
That's a good point.
It's probably coming.
It's coming. One
There's
day.
a lot of lights now that run off battery. So when you get your never
Yeah.
dying battery,
Well,
I went
it's
in on
not.
that.
It's not even just. It's not like I'm not stupid. I'm not like the battery goes in there. It never needs to be charged. I'm just saying it charges because it's being used.
Like regenerative braking.
Yeah, but that sort of exists. Like in the Prius.
The more light you have, the more battery you have. It'll never.
Oh,
go
I
down.
see what you're saying. Yeah, it doesn't,
Yeah.
that's
I
not
want to see that.
It's more, and for every bit of like power that it uses, it releases more good oxygen and stuff into the air. Like it's
Oh, it's like better for the environment.
better for the environment.
And improves the
Okay.
environment.
Better for the environment.
All right.
And if you would never get rid of the battery because it never runs out. But if you ever did throw it into landfill, it would eat up other bits of landfill.
That's good. I like that.
This
Yeah.
is,
It's a
you've
natural predator
You've really
in
been
the
workshopping
landfill.
this. I didn't know that you even, yeah.
It's just
You're
it's-
onto something,
It's very
that's
good,
for
very good, very good. Then you can actually batteries could be bricks, and you make the house. The batteries never run out.
Yeah.
You make the house out of the batteries,
Yeah.
and then that powers the house.
You don't need outlets. You
Plus
just get an outlet.
releasing
Perfect.
more oxygen.
Yeah. You're going to be rich.
And if there's a flood, the house will float up and sit on the top. In fact, you'll be more comfortable.
You'll be more comfortable.
You'll be more comfortable before.
You're now a waterfront property.
All right.
You should talk about the most famous term in there. Probably is the C-47.
Oh, yeah? Sorry.
Jay wants to talk about it.
Well, C-47 is a clothespin. Basically what it was, a clothespin. And we would use them to put gels on lights. And nowadays we hardly ever put gels on lights because LEDs can do so many different colors.
They're called C-47s?
We had to have a technical name for it in order to get it through production.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what, they wouldn't give you a hair clip money?
No. But a C-47...
We need 100 C-47s.
Fighter jet, yeah.
They need 1,000 of these. They must be important.
1,000 C-47s. We need 200 feet of horsecock. And, they don't call it horsecock anymore?
They don't. I mean, people will
Donkey
say
dick, it's now called.
but you got to be real careful what you're saying in front of certain people.
It's less offensive.
I worked with a bunch of salty older guys and learned a lot of things.
Just to the taste.
Yeah.
There's something about Freddie got fingered next to this.
Old cumbugger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put that in there because it reminded me when you said horsecock about a movie I did called Freddie Got Fingered.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you
Tom
like?
Green.
Did you have to light up the sausage scene? And was that there would have been a lot of shadows in that scene?
I had to light everything.
That was a lot of meat hanging from the ceiling. How did you get around the meat?
Well, you got light coming in from
horsecock.
different areas, but the whole horsecock thing reminded me of the very first scene that's in Freddie Got Fingered. And Tom Green's character is driving down the freeway in a convertible, and he looks over into a field and sees the stallion. So he gets all excited and he jumps out of his car, and this is in the first couple of pages of the script. And the director of photography who I did the movie with, I've done 60 features with. Wow. And he goes, I don't want to do this movie. He goes, what am I going to do? He goes, let me just read you the first page. And it was Tom Green driving down the freeway, jumping out of his car, running out into the field, and jerking this stallion off.
Yeah.
Which happens not with just a stallion, but later in the film, he does the same thing with an elephant.
Yeah.
And the elephant releases and, you know.
It is funny how movies have changed.
So when the
I have to see that film again.
I don't remember that.
It's been quite a while.
Well, the thing was, he was before Jackass. You don't understand how revolutionary
He was like pre-Eric Andre kind of thing, too.
He was something special, he was.
Yeah, he was out there.
I remember like going, I can't believe he had a testicle removed for testing.
Right.
And he got up and put it in his mouth and stuff on camera.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
He's a fucking god, man.
And he's in Road Trip as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he is.
But Tom Green's pretty awesome. He's very polite.
He's a very nice man.
Yeah. I worked a weekend with him when I first started doing comedy. He was really nice. That's all. That's the only memory, only knowledge of. But he was very kind. So, okay, two more terms. Beaver board is where you put your horse cock. Jim said.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, beaver board's another term. Obviously, we don't use on set anymore. It comes out, people will blurt it out, and then they'll kind of, you know. But it's basically a pancake, which is in the apple box family.
Yeah.
With usually a baby plate screwed to the top of it. So you have a small wooden plate with a baby pin metal plate on it that you can put a light on. So if I have to set a light on the ground, I can put the light there and do what I have to do with it.
And why was it called a beaver board?
Because they are horny as hell.
Yeah, well, you know, how people imagine it, a pin sticking up out of something. A lot of people thought, well, you know, that's something women would enjoy. And so that term came. Well,
They called it like a Sibian or something.
You guys, you really know what the women enjoy.
So we don't.
Sitting on a metal pin.
Okay, and then the last one was Rocky Mountain Leg, and Jim said this is all rubbish, but he should get enough point for that, honestly. At this,
It's just one of the legs that's on either a baby stand or a mambo combo that you can adjust for rough terrain. So two legs are one, and you can put the other leg down farther if you're on a hillside or something.
Well, this is the part of the podcast called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our expert to give us some facts, something obscure, interesting about the topic that they can use to impress people. I don't know, lighting. This might be a tough one. You got something?
Well, the only thing I can say is most people wonder where the term gaffer came from.
Yeah.
And, you know, back when the streets, we didn't have electricity, there were gas lanterns along the street. So the guy that was hired, he would carry a long stick with a torch on the end of it, a flame, and he would go up to all the gas lanterns and light them along the street. And that was called a gaff stick. So the gaffer, that's where the term came from.
Yeah.
He was the gaffer lighting the gas lanterns.
Jay has a lot of amazing set stories. I just want him to tell the Michael Mann story, if you want to.
Yeah, it's probably...
You're going to get fired from Michael Mann if you tell the story?
Well, I don't really work for Michael Mann. I did a movie called Manhunter, and I think that was in 80... I think we shot that in 84 or 85. Wow. But I was the generator operator on it. And I was working super long hours. As the Genny op, you had to be there before everyone else got there because you had to power things up. So I was averaging 18 to 20 hours a day on that show with usually 6-hour turnarounds. And we had 3 nights of shooting left, and we were shooting the scene between the FBI agents and Dollarhide back in the swamp across the Cape Fear River from Wilmington, North Carolina. So we were in the woods where they built this set, the Dollarhide house. Dante Spinotti was the director of photography on it. And we started having a lot of lights that were being used, so the generator needed a little more air to keep it cooler. So it was about 3 in the morning. I climb up on top of the generator and I go, and on top there was 2 flaps. You could open one to allow a certain amount of air in. You'd open up a second one to allow even more air in to cool it down more. So I climb up there, I open that flap up, and all of a sudden I hear 2 gunshots. And, this is normal on a film like Manhunter. You hear gunshots, but this time it was a little different. You could hear the bullets coming careening through the tree branches and hitting limbs as it went right over my head. And I was like, what the hell? So I dropped down on top of the roof of the generator and I start to scuttle my way back to the back end of the generator to climb down. And I heard 2 more gunshots. This time you could hear them going through limbs, then you heard a dink dink. And that was the bullets hitting something. Well, as I'm climbing off the back of the generator, the transportation captain on that part of the shoot comes flying out of the special effects truck. He had been sitting in there reading a book, and those 2 shots I had just heard went through the special effects truck and hit in the wall on the opposite side right in front of him. Jeez. So he comes running back. I'm climbing off the back generator, and he goes, Jay, who's firing live rounds here? And I said, I have no idea. Just then we heard 3 more shots and coming through the trees, and we're kind of standing next to each other, and right next to my head, 3 bullet holes right in the side of my generator in a perfect little triangle. And Rick gets on there, who's firing live ammo? Who's doing this? And they yell, cut. Nothing, no one. They called a wrap. So we didn't know what was going on. So, I stayed. They did what they did. I shut the generator down after everybody left, went home, went to sleep, got up the next morning, came in early like always. And I was the Genny operator, so another gaffer owned that generator. He wasn't working on the show. And he showed up and he says, Jay, I'm glad you showed up this morning. He goes, frankly, I'm surprised you did after what I heard happened last night. He goes, these rounds hit the generator. I showed him the bullet holes. He said, if they even look at you cross-eyed tonight, I want you to pull the plug on them and pull the generator away. They hadn't paid the rental on some things for quite some time, like a month. So he was kind of fed up himself. So I thought, okay, well, I got some power here. I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
No apologies, no nothing, no
Who shot him
explanation.
now? Who's shooting?
Okay, so what I came to find out was that Michael Mann wanted the realism and shot high speed, wanted to put live rounds in a gun and shot through a window, wanted high speed to see the bullets going through the window and off into the darkness towards the FBI agents. There was no one there. They cleared that area. They didn't have any actors in there.
Yeah.
But they didn't clear the whole area back where all the trucks were. They didn't tell anyone. So special effects, they gathered all their weapons and they loaded them up at wrap that night and they pulled out. They left the show.
Yeah.
Well, the next morning I show up and I'm standing there, and everyone had to walk down this long dirt road to get to the set. And I'm standing on the back of the generator, and I'm just watching Michael Mann, the first AD, the second AD. Everyone's just walking by. No one's even looking at me. They're not saying anything. They're not telling me what was going on. They did no apologies, nothing. They go in, and I'm like, shit, man. What can I do here? So we shot till midnight that night. And then I got on the radio. The gaffer on the show was John Ferguson. And I said, John, I'm going to pull the plug on this. And I could hear Michael Mann in the background kind of yelling, who the hell does he think he is? And he goes, what do you want to stay? And I said, well, first of all, I'm still baffled as to what happened last night.
Like an apology?
There's been no, there's been no explanation, no apology, no nothing. Effects guys pulled out. And I could hear Michael Mann over his radio kind of screaming. And then the radio went dead, and I'm sitting there. He comes back on, and he goes, what do you want to stay? Oh, what do I want?
Horse cock?
A beaver board? So I said, well, I want the rental check here before we wrap in the morning for Jock. Everything that's owed to him, I want.
You're nice, Jay.
And I want double time for everybody that's been shooting these long hours for the past week.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So I could hear him screaming. The radio goes dead again. He comes back on. He goes, okay, you got it.
Yeah, they got off cheap.
Yeah, they got off real cheap.
Yeah, double time.
And back then, there was no... the safety regulations weren't in place, and that film actually caused a lot of safety things to,
oh, really?
become better for the industry. But I almost lost
And
my
that
life.
movie was The Crow.
Forgot about The Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Alec Baldwin is the one that's in there. Yeah, holy shit.
I feel sorry for Alec Baldwin, but it's another episode, another day.
Between that and the spill thing that you invented, you should be bazillionaire. Well, thanks for being here, Jay Yowler, so much. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @GaffDaddy, and check out, I don't know, he's been in all these movies: Dumb and Dumber, Road Trip, Old School, Transformers: Rise of the Beast, Grownish on ABC. He's worked on a million things. So
Thank you.
All right, thanks for being on the podcast, Jay. I appreciate it. If you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and goes, "Oh, you look like you got a horse's cock," I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know about that," and walk away. Good night, Australia.